I miss doing that. I miss doing that.
Why?
Okay, we're back.
Hello.
We're in person now.
I know. For the first time in.
Well,
Like,
welcome to Frenemies.
we don't have the backdrop to be frenemies. We're also
And
not. As,
I don't have a pink microphone for you.
we're also not as dramatic
No,
to be frenemies.
we're quite boring, I think.
I would say so too.
Yeah, I was throwing out like, oh, like I was hoping back like, no, we're not boring. You were like, oh yeah, I agree, we're boring.
I mean, I was thinking about what I do on the daily, and I was like, I just eat,
Well,
sleep.
well, are you saying that even doing this is not exciting?
I mean, this is exciting.
Okay,
I've never had so many lights in my eyes.
so it's been about what? How many months? 18 months since last March?
Something
No,
like.
no, not last March. 2 Marches ago.
Oh God. I don't know. The days are blending together. I can't remember anymore.
You know, I was writing an article and it said I've written down as 16 months, but somebody told me it was 18 months. So I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm telling you, the months are blending in together. It's really hard to remember anything anymore.
So this is our first time back together.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might have had a season break through the summer. We did record a podcast before this one, but I just felt like I don't know why, but I was just pretty distracted.
We had a lot to do.
I think so. I just, you even said it at that day that like when you were like saying, are you sure you even want to record? Because I was going through some stuff too. And so I was just like, well, let's just do it because we haven't had like a podcast in months.
Yeah.
And so I was like forcing myself to do it. And then when I like sat down and started editing it, it's like, nah, this is not working.
Yeah.
This is not.
I mean, to be fair,
Yeah.
I feel like with restrictions lifting for a little while, it kind of made it so everybody wanted to do something else other than like the thing you've been constantly doing, and you kind of been grinding out podcasts like a madman.
Yeah, and then I was also doing like my online kind of, I wouldn't say after school, like summer program for students.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, well, I'm doing that. And that took up all of my time. So any
Yeah.
podcast that I was doing, it was mainly just specials, really.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah.
You got a lot on your plate. You went places.
Yeah, I
I mean,
definitely
you're
did.
going places. Haha.
You know, that's the thing about this whole pandemic is that if it wasn't, the weird thing is if it wasn't for what had happened through March until now, I wouldn't have done this podcast, or at least taken it as seriously as I am doing it now.
I mean, I think that's kind of like the thing about life, right? Sometimes the things that you kind of like unexpectedly think would kind of like not go anywhere end up going places, and it's
Yeah.
like because of certain circumstances, you end up in the place that you are now.
Yeah.
So it could have been just the world working itself together.
Finding ways to figure stuff out. So, speaking of figuring stuff out, so this is gonna be our new season, right? We're trying to so we're hoping to do more programming or like discussion topics. So we have several things today. We're gonna talk about what's the specific thing, the California
Gubernatorial
what she said.
recall election.
It's been a long day for me. Okay. We're going to talk about that. We're going to read some of the different candidates' little bios they have here. And some of them is, like, pretty funny.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I actually don't really have an opinion on it right now.
Really?
The one thing I vaguely remember was I went to work one day,
Mm-hmm.
and I work in like a plaza, so it's like an open area that has a parking lot, and then
Mhm.
outside of it is the sidewalk that
Right.
leads to the street. I remember driving to work one time, right? And there was like, one of those tents you bring to the beach.
Oh, like a beach tent?
Oh, not like a tent, but like one of those, like it's like the one where you extend out the legs and there's like four, and then you set up like towels underneath for shade. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, yeah. So they had one of those set up on the sidewalk in front of my plaza, and like there were like old ladies sitting next to the tables and stuff, and there was like a huge sign that said recall Gavin Newsom. And I was just like, oh. It's here.
It's happening. Sorry.
I just didn't expect it there. I don't know why I didn't expect it there, but it was just very interesting to see it.
Well, I guess if we were having like a really like political conversation, you know, the area you work at is like what, Temple City?
Yeah.
Super conservative.
I mean, actually,
Like annoyingly conservative. That's how bad it is.
there was one time I was driving up um, on a street, and there was like, there's a house that I always see, and it has like a Trump flag.
Oh yeah, that's disgusting.
I don't know.
It's a look.
Yeah.
It's a
It's just interesting because now it's like, I don't hear anything about Trump that much, unless it's like,
you hear all the dumb stuff he says from time to time.
yeah. I mean, I think the one new thing was the whole thing that happened with Afghanistan,
Oh yeah.
right? And then
Remember all of those years he was like, we're getting out, and then all of a sudden that our current president, I have my opinions about him too, but like ever since he's getting out, like literally doing it, he's like, okay, we're gonna go back. I'm just like, what are you doing?
I mean, okay, this is my current opinions on Afghanistan,
Okay, go
or the
ahead.
situation with it. I feel like I kind of think there, like, you know, there was no purpose in staying there for longer.
Past that 10 years after we
Well, I mean, more so because like it seemed from at least like reports that like, you know, as much as they did train all of these people, it wasn't like there was like you need the motivation to be doing something anyways, and it didn't seem like that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, you're just kind of using up money to do nothing. And
Yeah.
I remember seeing like a podcast or like some video about some veterans who saw that,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Oh, yeah, you know, I have my own opinions, and I'm kind of upset that, you know, they didn't even do anything to prevent them from taking over and stuff."
Mm-hmm.
So, in regards to it, I mean, I feel like, you know, it was probably a good idea to pull out, but at the same time, I don't really agree with how it worked out.
Yeah.
Like, there had to have been like a better way to do it than what is happening now.
Well, as where this is not a whole scale discussion on Afghanistan as much
It
as
is
we
definitely not.
but we just opened up with this conversation there. It did end up being a kleptocracy, which is another word that basically means a lot of the people that were in positions of power were just stealing money from outside sources.
Right.
So they were just trying to make money as which way they can, essentially.
Yeah.
So that was just how things were ran. And when you have a situation where people just kept on stealing and stealing, you know, without any form of leadership, that's what happens. I'm not trying to blame their government for falling, but it's really just a mishmash of corruption and non-leadership almost.
Yeah, it's just if anything a bit unfortunate that it happened the way that it did.
And do you like I talked to somebody? Do you feel like a weird relationship as Southeast Asian, like you being, wait, you're Vietnamese American, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep asking that.
Always forgetting.
Yeah, I always forget.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like I'm actually like Vietnamese. I'm like Chinese Vietnamese.
Yeah.
So like that's even crazier because then I'm like, I'm not actually. I technically am Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were Chinese, but they were born in Vietnam, so
Right.
they're technically Vietnamese, but they're Chinese.
Yeah. Well, at least I think for me, I could probably claim more of my Cambodianness. You know, except for that, I think I might be 1/5, 1/4. I don't know. I only know enough.
I mean, to be fair, my Cantonese is like broken.
But yeah. Well, we're all born here in the States, so I'm pretty sure our native languages are pretty bad.
You know, at work today, I was talking to my boss, right? And I was telling her something like, "Oh, nei lei chao tong lo."
What does that?
It means like, come sit with me.
Yeah.
But I said it completely wrong.
And what did she thought you said?
No, I said it like that, but like I said it in the wrong grammatical structure, so it's not correct.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll get it in the comments later.
Yeah.
Was it-
Anyway.
But yeah, do you feel like as you know Vietnamese American, me being Cambodian American, it's like there's like a weird relationship to it.
In terms of what?
Like, you know, they're calling it the fall of Afghanistan, you know, the fall of Saigon, and like everything that happened like years after that like I think for me to some degree, as somebody that's like into like more into like immigration issues, that as somebody that was born from a family that has been through something similar, I would want to help as much as possible, because I think even for my situation or like my family, they could have been treated better,
Oh yeah.
you know.
I mean,
And then as a Southeast Asian that's been through that, right? Like you would want to help out as much as possible.
yeah. To be honest, I never thought about it until you asked the question. But you know what?
You
Like,
never thought about that?
I don't know. I know about what's happening, but I haven't kept.
You
up,
haven't like internalized it or like.
or I haven't kept up with it as much, so I
Okay,
haven't had
that's
the
fair.
chance to think about it. Like I knew about like, like the more bigger
Mhm.
instances of stuff happening, which was like like the people climbing on the side of the planes.
Yeah.
But I haven't taken the time to process how I personally feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you kind of like think about it, I did have opinions on like, because there was like an article that came out that Airbnb was offering housing for free for all of these people,
To help resettle.
which I don't in my head right now currently I don't know how it's gonna work. Like, are they gonna come over for refuge and then they go into the housing, or well, anyway?
There's pipelines, but a lot of that resettlement pipeline was dismantled through the Trump administration,
Yeah.
as I understand it. I could be wrong totally too, by the way.
Yeah.
But like as far as I understand, the resettlement process for refugees has been totally dismantled through the Trump administration.
That's unfortunate. Well, anyway, besides the point
Yeah.
though, like, I do feel some sort of relation to them because I obviously my parents were refugees as well,
Mm-hmm.
and they were running from a really bad situation
Yeah,
that was
same.
related to politics.
Right.
So I would hope that their journey over is safe,
Mhm.
but seeing as like how some of my parents or how my parents have been treated after living here for so long, and it's been like years now, I sometimes like think back to other refugees that are coming in and wonder and worry about how they'll be treated when they come in.
Yeah, because it's already at this point I've already since like stopped listening to Fox News, because it's when you really think about it, it's just opinion talking people. And of course, you can make that argument for our show too. It's just opinions from random people.
Yeah.
But like it was just they were like coming up to this whole fall of Afghanistan situation. They were like already fear mongering about replacements and all of this stuff about them coming, the new immigrant class that's gonna take your jobs. I'm just like, wow, this is the mechanism of
We've
that,
been
like,
through this before.
the mechanism of like that media misinformation. And I'm just like, okay, calm down.
Yeah.
Whoever the whatever Tucker Carlson.
I mean,
Yeah.
America is built on immigration anyways, right? So
Yeah.
like, I don't see what's wrong with it personally. I do agree that there is a lot of like fear mongering right now,
Mhm.
and I don't think it was.
I think on an individual, like I could only control what I can do.
Yeah.
So as somebody that like helps out in like an immigrant center or like a center that helps at least help people navigate,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do as best that I can on an individual level, and I think that's really all we can do at the moment.
Yeah.
Because it's not like we're gonna bring troops back into Afghanistan. I really hope we don't. But like it's gonna take that for us now, because we're in a situation where it is now. We hope as best to put our best foot forward.
Yeah.
So that's as much as I'm gonna say about that.
Okay. Okay, back to what we were talking.
Yeah. Which was pretty much about drop. Oh yeah, so about programming. So we're gonna be talking about the recall election. You know how weird that we got through the recall up to the point about saying that we're gonna be talking about this, to like this whole discussion about Afghanistan.
We kind of went like the long way around, and I think that was because I sidetracked it. My bad.
And then we may talk about some other stuff that we've been hearing on the headlines. So this is gonna be maybe like a redo of our normal show, almost
A mishmash.
a mishmash. Like I guess I was just inspired by H3H3's podcast a little bit, and like how they do their things. And so I'm just like, oh, we could do that a little bit. We're not gonna go uber political. At least I hope not.
Just talk about variety.
We'll
of
be
things.
it'll be a little fun here and there. We're gonna talk about this. We're probably gonna talk about movies, stuff that we've been watching, and we're probably gonna reconnect because this is our first in-person podcast. I don't know if we're gonna do more of these,
Yeah.
but I hope so.
I hope so too.
Oh, I did promise Vincent that he would be well.
This can come out after you post the Vincent thing, and we'll just say it's a prequel.
The prequel. You know what? How about this? It'll be the prequel. This will be the non-official, official season starter.
Well, we'll just post Vincent's first, and then we'll never talk about it. Hi, Vincent. You were there first. This is not September the 3rd. This is in fact
Whenever this podcast comes out.
October. You were definitely first. Oh, I should wink with the other way.
I really like that you committed with that because I was thinking about just posting it and then I'll deal with his wrath later.
It's totally October.
I'm a real, ask for forgiveness, not for permission sort of person. That's really why I get in trouble.
It's October.
Yeah,
It's Halloween season.
it's Halloween season. We're in Thottam.
It's spooky, scary skeletons hour.
Got to a Home Depot. Yeah, they already got their 20-foot skeletons ready to go.
I've seen so many of those. I'm so tempted to get one in the future.
You know what's weird? Yeah, that was also a pandemic thing. Everybody stuck at home. They were like, "What should I do? Decorate the shit out of my house."
What did I even do when I was in quarantine? Fuck.
Halloween quarantine. People still trick or treated, which I was surprised of.
I want to wear a costume so badly this year.
I don't know if. Can I look like a slacker?
I mean, so there was this thing that I saw on TikTok because I have to use TikTok. I'm old. And it was like a party, like a small gathering that somebody had. And it was like, wear a costume of something or someone that starts with the first letter of your name.
Okay, so yours is a K, Kalani. So what would that be?
I thought about it. I totally dressed up as Kim Possible.
Okay. What would I be? Boris Johnson? I'm just kidding. No, do I want to be the Prime Minister of Britain?
I don't know if you want to be the Prime Minister.
I don't.
Yeah.
The Trump of England. What characters that's Batman, Beetlejuice.
Wait, we can't say his name 3 times.
Oh. Well, you said it once. I said it twice.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, yeah.
That's the safety.
Yeah, safety. Yeah, what other characters are there? What it would be? I was gonna say Nightwing, but that starts with an N. Beast Boy.
Butter. I'm just
From
thinking
South Park.
that's Butters. I was just thinking of like a stick of
butter. Oh, you're saying a stick of butter. My mind went straight to
but
South
like
Park.
to be honest, I don't know how you would dress up as a bunny.
Bugs Bunny.
You could be any bunny. You could be like.
Can I be like a terrifying Easter bunny?
Like you're gonna be like those bunny girls.
Oh God. I don't want to end up as Vincent's fantasy.
You need to when he comes by, you need to be like, hey, I need to ask for your permission about something.
I need you to see this clip. This is gonna be our clip show. What do you think of this clip?
Bunnies. Anyway.
You know what would be really funny if I just don't have Vincent on the podcast at all and just be like, the audience be like, who is this? Who the is this Vincent guy? Why do they keep referring to this person? He's never a guest on the podcast, even though he's like the first guest ever.
You need to have him on.
I know. I should. I'm thinking about the bit. I'm throwing a curveball to you, and I'm gonna see if the comedy lands.
October. This comes out in October. Okay, back to this.
Okay. And then, so we're going to be talking about several. Let's try to limit 3 things. So we're going to talk about the election of California recall. We're going to talk about Texas a little bit and how crazy that is. and then we're gonna be talking about why is it like freaking raining like cats and dogs. I
In
think
New
that
York, right?
yeah,
It's
New York's of all
flooding.
places, and then it's us. We're like dry as fuck.
This is cool.
Oh, my first f bomb for this episode, by the way.
We need to reel it back. We need to go in order.
Okay, so let's start. Let's start. Okay, what should we call this bit here? What are we doing? Okay, so we're reading the recall election. So as many Californians know, and I'm pretty sure a lot of our audience is in California, we're having a recall election of Gavin Newsom, which, on a personal note, kind of pointless when his election is next year.
How exactly, or how would you say that we ended up at this position? What do you think? Because I like okay here. This,
Okay,
this,
yeah, go ahead.
This is my personal history. So
Yeah.
like I genuinely am kind of like up in the air, not really sure how this happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew obviously because of like the tents that had been set up that there had been a call for him to be recalled, call to be recalled. But I like it just kind of like slowly started popping up as time went on. Like that was the first little kind of like sprinkle in the news.
Right.
And then as time went on, it just like more things started popping up, and then all of a sudden he was like being recalled. I was like, how the heck did this happen? And yeah.
Well, I think it was kind of like it was a slow kind of like uptick, like a roll. You know how a roller coaster is, like it's slow and then goes up and then it summits and it starts going.
But like, was he recalled by like public opinion, and then that was brought up to other people that are in like councils, and then they pushed it, or like how would that work? Do you know?
I think there was a petition process to get a
Okay.
recall, and a lot of it kind of stems through like all the decisions he made through pandemic, whether or not it was good or bad. To some people would think it's really bad. For some people think it's justified given the circumstances of the pandemic. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, and I've mentioned this before, that my opinion about governors, civic leaders, mayors, anybody in organized power on any level, given this pandemic, is like whatever decisions you make, whatever they are, both on the negative or positive, you will have to live with those consequences, both positive and negative.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the difference between what we have as a governor that did a lot, and versus some governors, mainly in the South, doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that's the proposition. That's kind of like for me, it's like that's what you need to weigh for and against almost.
I will say, I'm like looking at all of the like the party preferences of each of these candidates.
Yeah.
There are surprisingly, I don't know if I should say surprisingly, but there's a lot of Republican candidates compared to what like I would have expected in LA.
Yeah, but to be fair, this is like all over California.
That's true. I just was very like a little caught off guard because I was like, oh, this is a lot of Republicans. But I it's only because like when LA is historically talked about in terms of like our specific area, like a lot of people consider us to be very, very liberal.
Right.
So like to see so many Republican candidates, it's actually a little surprising to me.
Well, I thought the thing is, also there's another thing to be said about like how California's recall process is, and for some people, they think it's too easy for a recall process to happen. But in this case, it's like, well, you have a system set up where you have to get 50 plus 1 for either yes or no to happen, right? And then when it comes to all of these candidates right now, and here's what's the scary part, is that a candidate just is like first past the post sort of situation. So to a degree, the person that only has maybe 20% of the vote, or whoever has the most, but looks like, right, the person I last checked was Larry Elders. he has 20% chances of winning the governor's race. The thing about that is that somebody with only 20% of like the vote in California will become governor. And then if you think about our system as being 50 plus 1 or like past the post, that's not right, right? How can a governor be governor if he or she has a 20% majority of a vote?
Yeah, to be fair though, there's also like a lot of candidates.
Yeah.
There's how many? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13.
Also, to be fair, I don't want to distract you from counting, but this is not an exhaustive conversation. Let's be really fair about this. This is not an exhaustive conversations about the candidates in general. It's more of like we're just making fun, or just there's a lot of comedy in here, and we're just gonna try to milk as much of it as possible.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just so I think we might go back and forth. I will ask you to read one.
Oh my god, this guy has like a full Tinder profile.
Tinder It started. The comedy has started.
No, there's one line in here, and he says, "My career, marriage, finances, friends, and custody of my children gone." I don't know what that says, but that sounds a little.
That sounds like a person that has a lot of gripes.
I'm not even joking. The only reason why I got to reading that sentence is because I looked down at this page full of words, and "gone" is in full caps.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what is this related to?
Oh yeah, so that's where the comedy starts. It's insane. It's like literally, at best, there might be like 3 people that's taking this seriously, and the rest is all just kind of like, what is happening right now? So do you want to? Okay, so let's just
What? Caitlyn Jenner is. I'm sorry. I was just reading the profile, right? I didn't even look at the name. I just read the block of text first, and then it says, "I'll veto any new tax increase, any effort to defund the police, and veto any effort to strip our veterans and first responders of the benefits or dignity they've earned." And then I looked up, and I was like, "Wait a second, Caitlyn Jenner."
Yeah, so Caitlyn Jenner, she was one of the first people to be in the race, or at least of note to be in the race.
Okay, so
Yeah.
quick question: if this was like a Tinder profile, right? Would you have preferred it to be like a full block, which some of these candidates have, or like this one candidate has one line?
Well, we're gonna get into that. When it comes to Tinder profiles, I would prefer a single line that says "Let's bang."
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
I mean, we banging something. The walls.
Yeah, we're banging our tables and our ballot boxes. So yes, Caitlyn Jenner is on the Republican ticket. So do you want to start with Caitlyn Jenner? Or do you want to go with the front runner that I've understood as like the front runner?
Do you want the front runner? I'll go with Caitlyn Jenner since I found her randomly.
Okay, so all right, then I'll just do the front runner because that would be like the beginning. I feel like it would be a good thing to start somewhat serious and end with the comedy.
Okay, am I reading this?
You are reading Caitlyn Jenner, and then I'm gonna be reading Larry Elders.
Okay.
So Larry Elders is a Republican. Okay, so it starts out with a question. I don't know if you want to follow along.
I will listen.
It's page 17, by the way.
I feel like I'm at school. Go on.
Larry A. Elders, what's happening to our California? Question mark. Sorry, should my line reading sucks. To my World War II Marine dad and 8th grade dropout, California was truly the Golden State. He arrived after the war and worked 2 full-time janitorial jobs. California's then healthy economy enabled him to buy a home, and with my stay-at-home mom, raised 3 boys. That home was worth see, my line reading sucks. That home is now worth $600,000, a nightmare for any young struggling family, which today's cost of living and striving to follow my dad's upward path. Wait, no. Striving to follow my dad's upward path. Stopping California's war on the middle class demands reducing regulations, driving up housing costs, and sending jobs to other states. Los Angeles public schools empower me to an Ivy League university and then law school. Today, very few of the students attending my former inner city high school are proficient at math. As governor, I will expand charter schools. Oh, great! So the problem is not public schools, y'all. The problem is that we don't have enough charter schools. Interesting, interesting. Crusade for choice of schools, igniting competition to deliver excellence between K through 12 education. It can be done! Explanation point. Wait, no. Oh, did I say that wrong?
It can be done. I think you said can't.
It can be done. Exclamation. I said explanation point. I was just like, what the?
It's one letter off. It's okay.
We're doing this after I worked like 6 hours?
Oh yeah, I also worked since like. I've also worked 6-7 hours.
Well, yeah. Well, I think we're like Yeah, it's weird. I'm technically full time, but I don't get a lot of hours. It's kind of weird. Anyways, yeah, I don't want to get into that. I don't want my work to get into this that I like. Okay. It can be done. Sorry. How can California have record budgets and tax hikes, and yet pervasive homelessness? ? I pledge to overhaul our budgetary organization and lift up the homeless brothers and sisters. I will also help support true criminal justice reform while opposing no bail for repeat offenders and wholeheartedly backing police and prosecutors to fight the end of California's crime wave. Period. Sorry, I'm gonna stop say those words. I'm not an elitist, power-hungry politician. I'm humbled to ask for your vote. I am an optimist. Let's make California golden again.
I feel like that's a subtle MAGA.
Yeah. Well, so if you don't know, Larry Elders is, as far as I understand it, is a conservative talk radio person, which also has been in the news a lot. Not him, but like a lot of conservative radio talk people have been catching COVID a lot lately.
Oh my god, no, there's a lot of them dying right now.
Yeah.
I felt really bad for that. Here's the thing I have about like that kind of situation, right? Like, on one hand, I think it's kind of like you put yourself in a position to get sick. Granted, I don't want you to die.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Like, I don't agree with your position about vaccines and stuff because I do think it's a necessity, but like, I don't know, like, I do also not understand why like they put out this misinformation about, oh my god, that's a huge ass onion ring. But anyway, yeah, no, I just feel sad, you know, like there was that guy, what's his name, something Valentine, who caught it, and then he was like, I look forward to coming back and telling you more about why you should be vaccinated, and then he died. Like, it's sad. There's so many people that are getting sick, and then when they go to the hospital are telling them like, please give me the vaccine, but it's too late for them to get it. I don't know, it's just sad.
It is.
How did this get so somber?
You know, for some people, it's like, you get what you get. You know, some people have that attitude. I think for me, it is unfortunate. Especially if you think about this in the terms of, like, you know, these are people that also have families, too, to some degrees. You want to be more on your better angel sort of side and just be like, you know, they have families and all of these, you know, they have people they have to go home to take care of. On another side, I think the id side of me is also like, you know, you've also said really, really dumb shit when it comes to coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
That's like my dark id side of me, where it's just like, fuck him and all of that stuff. It's like, that's the dark side of me that's saying that. But to a degree, it's like, I still see these as human beings that
Yeah. It's just like, you know, like, unfortunately, there's so much, like, misinformation going on right now, and part of it is due to conservative radio hosts, I feel like. And I don't know, it's a bit sad that it's happening, you know, as drastically as it is right now. And I think the one reason why I feel more upset about these in particular versus like other deaths that I've heard of
Mm-hmm.
is because right now in the situation that we're in, vaccines are available.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the beginning of the pandemic, it wasn't like we had like any real solution
Mm-hmm.
to it. And obviously there is a little, part of me that is nervous about vaccines, but I ultimately think it's good for you to take it in the long run. So, it's like I understand a person's fear of taking it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like you see the consequences of not
Mm-hmm.
taking this pandemic seriously.
And the numbers, and like, there's things about like breakthrough cases of COVID, and like
Yeah.
we've been hearing a lot of breakthrough cases through like celebrities and things like that. But those are the cases where people have to work or like do something, or like their work, has to actively test people.
Yeah.
Like I imagine, I have people that work in warehouses. It's like as long as you don't cough on anything, you're fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Like it's a little bit more blasé.
yeah.
And then there's for folks that work in the TV and film medium, right? They get tested regularly. So
Mhm.
like cases of like breakthrough cases will find its way. Like you won't often see a breakthrough case in the hospital,
Mhm.
but most of the time it's because because these vaccines are pretty effective. Like you don't see a lot of numbers about breakthrough cases as much
Yeah.
as you see unvaccinated people going into the I almost said military going into medical facilities or hospitals. So why didn't I forget the word hospitals? Jesus Christ.
But it's also like, I think with all vaccines, no matter what you're getting, right? Like
Mhm.
there's always a small percentage of something happening, right?
And it's good. I think it's good to also admit, I think, you said it there too. It's like, I think we both had some hesitancy going into it.
Mhm.
But as somebody that didn't get it until like educators got it, like I felt like, well, medical people have gotten it. It's already been like 4 months. And if there was adverse effects, we would have heard it at that point.
Right.
So by the time, like seniors and medical people got it, and then at the point where educators can get it, and I technically counted as an educator through the work I do, I was like, yeah, sure, fine. Like at that point, I was ready to get it.
Yeah.
And it's good to admit that. It's like, for vaccine hesitancy, like at the very beginning where you were just hesitant, you weren't sure, and all of these things, I thought the process was more or less good in terms of like the emergency use and all of these things.
Mhm.
So I was just like, I was ready to take it. By the time it rolled around to me, I totally got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the odd thing is that, sometimes I watch various videos about people who have their fears about the vaccine. And sometimes, I agree with them in
Mhm.
certain things, right? Like, it does feel like the vaccine came out very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then some part of you is like, how did they get it out so fast?
And then when you learn about like how they did it, and like the process for it, I think like Vox did a whole video, like New York Times did a whole
Yeah.
video and an explainer on it. I was just like, I got to a point, it's like, yeah, I'll definitely take it. And
Yeah.
then in future vaccines, I'll definitely take those.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I had chickenpox when I was a kid,
Mhm.
and I got vaccinated for that when I was younger too.
Mm-hmm.
So like obviously vaccines are can be 99% effective, but you still have a 1% chance of catching it, whatever it is.
Still, yeah.
But like even when I caught chickenpox as a kid, it wasn't severe. So
Mhm.
like I think that kind of goes to show like if you take a vaccine, whatever illness that could be deadly could
Mhm.
become less deadly.
And let's say this now. It's not that we're vaccine hesitant now. I'm just saying that we felt that at the very beginning, but over time we just like found the evidence and for ourselves and talked to our primary care doctors, and then we got it.
The honest truth is, I think when it comes to things like this, right?
Mhm.
Like it's very much okay to be a little nervous,
Mhm.
right? But I think in the long run, these types of things, you obviously do your own research.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, some of the misinformation out there seems legit to other people. But, like,
Yeah.
I think if you listen to medical professionals, you believe in the science,
Mm-hmm.
I think you get to a point of understanding that these vaccines and all of these things are helpful to you. I mean, if you're like 25 now, right, and you've gone to the hospital and taken shots when you were a kid, like how, like, I'm pretty sure you can honestly say that like 25 years of your life can be attributed to being healthy by visiting your doctor and taking shots.
Mhm.
Just saying. And also, a person's phone is much more of a tracker than a shot.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? If you're gonna be scared of a tracker being put into your body, you might as well be scared of your phone because you have it in your pocket every day.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I remember like an old tweet from like a video game developer or somebody like that was like, oh, like their government is like gonna use my camera and like all of these other things, but at the end of the tweet it was basically written on a phone with a front facing camera.
Yeah, like genuinely, like you're more than likely to get like something to happen via your phone versus something happening to you via a vaccine shot.
Yeah, yeah. And yes, there's no such thing as trackers in the vaccine.
Oh, but you are magnetized.
No.
It's like ShamWow.
Oh, God.
I can attest that I've been stuck on a wall for 30 days.
You look good for somebody that was stuck on a wall.
I'm
for
telling you,
30
I'm
days.
stuck to this chair right now.
If you're hearing a weird feedback, it's because of the vaccine.
Anyway,
Do you want to read? Okay, do you want to do Caitlyn Jenner's?
honestly, I'm more tempted to read this Angeline person's.
Oh, you want to do Angeline? Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
Angeline Billboard Queen, icon, experienced politician, P.O. Box in Beverly Hills.
So Angeline, history lesson. So we weren't born in like the age of California where this was a thing, and then we often don't go to Hollywood. So she had billboards of her as like this kind of dolled up 50s like pinup person.
Looks like it.
Yeah, and she's just well known for that. And there's actually a TV series based on her.
So is this like
Yeah,
literally an ad?
not for the TV show, but for her.
Does she have her Instagram?
Yeah, no, she definitely has an Instagram.
No, I mean, oh my god, she does have her Instagram.
yeah, official Angeline, and one of her campaign promises is for California to party again.
Make California party again? Is that what it said?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
It looks like she gives off the energy. No offense to anybody who's a makeup guru on YouTube. It looks like an early 2000s makeup guru produced. It looks better than that. Of course, she probably has like a lot more resources, to get more professional equipment and everything. But it's like it has that energy of like she's just sitting behind a ring light and putting on makeup.
honestly,
Yeah.
I haven't been reading full descriptions, but I've been reading small ones here and there.
It's insane, isn't it?
So this candidate,
Okay.
who is a Democrat,
Okay, go ahead.
he put in his thing, married to an Asian American immigrant. What does that have to do with your race?
Oh no. That's terrible.
He's also related to signers of the Declaration of Independence and Constitution.
Oh, so he's also a colonizer.
Apparently. I mean, I don't know, man. Some things that people put in here are very like.
You have to put a lot in. I feel like I think all of these candidates need a class on either how to write for something like this, because it looks like they're just putting everything they can into all of this.
There's one that just says, "Can you dig it?" and another one that says, "Search YouTube."
So yeah, I don't have backstories to any of these people. I just wanted to like literally just like read off verbatim for some of these things.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's like Dan Kaplovitz, maybe. God, I hope I said that right.
Wait, should I read Caitlyn Jenner still?
Yeah. Let me go quickly for okay. All it says here is, "Can you dig it?" And he has what? Fancy looking swimming goggles.
Yes.
And then there's a guy that says Jeremiah in quotations Jeremy Marklink. So it says search YouTube. That's all it says.
At least put in more effort to explain yourself, man.
Okay. So I guess do you want to do Caitlyn Jenner? Because that was like really like the only other notable one that seems somewhat.
I will read it.
Okay.
California has been my home for nearly 50 years. I came here because I knew that anyone, regardless of their background or station in life, could turn their dreams into reality. For the past decade, we have seen the glimmer of the Golden State reduced by one-party rule that places politics over progress and special interests over people. Sacramento needs an honest leader with a clear vision. I've been a compassionate and thoughtful disruptor throughout my life, from representing the United States and winning a gold medal at the Olympics to helping advance the movement for equality. As governor, I will fight for families, protect our children, and ensure businesses can thrive again. We have seen the cost of living skyrocket, leading to homelessness and soaring gas prices. This isn't the California we know. We can do better, and I am the only candidate who can take on these challenges. I'll veto any new tax increase, any effort to defund the police, and I'll veto any effort to strip our veterans and first responders of the benefits or dignity they earned. That was it.
That was it. And it just says CaitlynJenner.com.
I mean, to be fair, her name is literally just a brand already. If you put Jenner anywhere, the Jenner family is a brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's all started by Kim. Kim K.
Kim K. The Kardashians.
The Kardashians. Sorry, I just totally bumped the audio up on accident.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think the sad thing is about Caitlyn Jenner was that, you know, she is staunch Republican. That's not the bad thing. But like, she was in a convention and she was being called out as like transgender, and you know, people were referring to her as like her old name and all of these things. So it's like, she doesn't kind of deserve that. But at the same point, I also remember, oh yeah, this is also the person that wanted to stop same-sex marriages too. She shouldn't get that abuse though. Like, I don't think she should, but
I mean, I don't think any person should,
Yeah.
right? But like, I just think it's very contradictory to be a part of the LGBTQ community and support like a part of the Republican Party, because one of the facets that they have is that they're against like LGBTQ rights.
Yeah, well, the famous thing was Twinks for Trump, so
Why though?
I don't know. It's the same thing about voting against your own best interests. Oh God, we got more F-bombs.
I'm sorry, that's too much. Cut the line.
Okay, here is...
That was a little too far.
Yeah, that got a little too far. I think we saw the most real Kalani. in
That's too much of a dark comedy. I watched too much Bo Burnham for that one.
Oh yeah, Bame it. God damn.
What is his new song? Think about everything all of the time.
Anything
and everything all of the time. Baby.
Okay, Bo Burnham. In my mind, for a weird situation, you know how like on Google, like things just autofill.
Yeah.
In my weird mind palace, it was like it autofilled Bill Burr.
Oh.
So I was just like, oh, you've been listening to Bill Burr.
Bill Burr.
Okay. All right. Here's another one that I wanted to highlight, because I don't know if this person's a real person. And it just said, okay, so on page 21, and there's no photograph of this person, so I really, really don't know who this person is. So it says Denver Stoner.
Oh.
We're in a good place right now. Denver Stoner. You know what? I'm making connections here. You know the first state that legalized recreational marijuana? Yeah, Colorado. What's the capital of Colorado? Denver. Is it?
I think so.
Yeah, Denver. Okay. I'm just going to say that now. I'm just going to say that with confidence right now. Denver. And so, Denver Stoner. Come on.
I mean, okay.
Is this a real person? I want to say this is a real person.
I think it would have been a joke if it was about weed.
I got to be honest, yeah. Well,
like
okay.
that would be the indicator for me.
Republican kind of get. Okay, there is a lack of moral character and servant leadership amongst government officials today. I don't know why I wanted to go with a southern accent there. I was gonna be like, there is a serious lack of moral character. Anyways, which has led to the decay in how social and fiscal responsibilities are carried out. Oh God, I'm continuing with that southern accent. Resulting in the people of our state being denied their constitutional and God-given rights and freedoms. It is time to bring God back into our government processes to restore our greatness to the state of California. I really do have like a convincingly southern accent. At least it's convincing to me.
It's pretty good.
I have dedicated my life to service and widely respected in my community, where I've served as a first responder, namely as a deputy and firefighter for over 19 years. I totally rounded up this guy. Or whoever this person is. As a lifelong citizen of California, I desire a better, brighter future for all children and grandchildren. As I, conservative Christian who is pro-God, pro-life, pro-family, and pro-gun, wait, no, sorry, there was no and there. Pro-gun, pro-liberty, and pro-law enforcement, I believe I can carry out the God-given duty of Governor of California to effectively healthy change and restore our great state. Stoner for, sorry, it's just a Gmail that cracks me up.
Jeez.
Stoner for governor at gmail.com.
Oh my god.
Also, we were I don't know if we're gonna say this, but like I kind of not want to say all of these addresses, but then again, this is public information, so.
Yeah. To be fair, I just said like the worst thing I possibly could have said. So.
Oh yeah, you're okay. You know, well, yeah, I was gonna refer back to it, but I was like, I'm totally not.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, well.
Go ahead.
No, the weird Trump fantasy that we were talking about earlier.
Just censor it out. Genuinely put Trump over my face. Just mouthing everything.
Yeah, that's really the several that I wanted to show here.
Except for the one that says "love you." That's it.
Oh, where? Oh, wait. It was that was the end, right?
That was
just said,
page
"Love you."
24. It just says "love you."
Yeah, Adam Pagan.
I keep thinking it says pagan, but
Pagan.
no, like pagan. Like there's a, I forgot what pagans are, but besides the point.
People that. That's why it says pagan refer to anybody that's against one organized religion.
Perhaps.
Because
I'm
like
sure.
pagan refers to anybody against Christian, right? So you could be a Buddhist and be pagan.
Oh.
Right? Or is that like one of those words that is now like a dead word that's like, oh, it used to mean like religion's not tied to Western society?
I'm not really sure, but to be fair, I also just learned what pescatarian is.
Oh my god. Do I have to tell you about what pitching the tent is? I'm just kidding.
I think I know what that is.
Sorry. Wait, was it you that told me that you had a friend that had no idea what pitching the tent was? Or was it Vincent that told us?
I think that's Vincent, but I did have a friend that is she's very innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Corrupt
there are
mind.
certain acronyms that she doesn't know what they mean,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, no, please, not like this.
One last thing of note. There's this guy named John Drake. John Drake. Wait, no. It sounds he writes this is in the third person. John is recently community college graduate with a degree in political science. He is continuing educational focus. Educational focus is government and policy making.
I'm really tempted to think that some of these people just like copy and pasted their resume descriptions into their thing, but
It's their objective. It's like want to learn new skills as governor.
yeah, there was one that just had like anyways, besides the point, it's almost 9.
It is almost 9, and we haven't even gotten to a conversation about the floods.
We gotta go real quick, speed run.
Okay, well, Texas has turned into the Handmaid's Tale, so let's start with that. So as far as we understand it now, and I know that's like now is my only catchphrase at the moment, is that Texas has kind of like criminalized abortion. So basically, it's an affront to Roe versus Wade, right? Wade versus Roe v. Wade.
There's
sorry.
a whole thing about trying to dismantle it, essentially, right?
Yeah, and so there was this whole thing about criminalizing people that using their aiding and abetting laws to, like, if you were to be an Uber driver to transport somebody to a facility that does abortions. And so I'm just like, wow, you really, really want women not to have any say about their bodies.
The thing is, I find it so funny that like a lot of like conservatives have repurposed the "My Body, My Choice" tagline for wearing masks.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And like, we have been like there have been so many people who are proponents for abortions who have been saying that, and they like obviously that's not, like they're like, no, this is not okay. But they use the tagline for masks and that's all right. Like I, I if you want to argue for "My Body, My Choice," that should be in all terms and facets of the phrase and not just mask wearing. I'm sorry. That's a little too politically charged.
Always mid-bite. but yeah, you also think that as a party that also is like very against any government regulations of anything, you would think that they wouldn't want regulations on what do people do with their own bodies, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just it's like what's the word, cognitive dissonance almost.
Yeah.
Well, like, to some degree it goes against what the idea of like small government or like no big government, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It goes against that and like the idea of more regulations and stuff like that. So I just to some degree it's like, why would, and as a guy, why would I have a say in somebody else's body?
Yeah.
You know?
It just it doesn't make any sense to me why all of this is happening.
And that's why I feel like a lot of conversation that pertains to this ultimately goes into a conversation about religion.
Yeah.
Really.
I actually just watched a video recently, and it was a girl going to a Planned Parenthood just for a checkup because it's affordable, And there was a guy that was in the front of the Planned Parenthood who was telling her, like, please don't do this. You don't need to do this to your child, da, 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 assuming that she was getting an abortion. And she was like, I'm not here for an abortion. I'm just here to get a checkup. And he just kept going on
Kept going on and on and on.
And like, everyone, or a lot of people who are against abortions will obviously point their fingers at defunding Planned Parenthood as an option. But, like, there are so many like health solutions that Planned Parenthood can provide, and obviously just because it's named Planned Parenthood, that's why I'm pretty sure a lot of people would assume that it's mostly related to setting up life and figuring yourself out. But no, they have a lot of like health services in there.
I think they do, like even like geographically, like there are places where people are more sexually active, right? There's more testing that goes on there,
and you can be become very safe just by using Planned Parenthood services. So the fact that it's getting defunded, it's bonkers to me.
Yeah, well, as somebody that may be more active as I get older, it's like that's a place that I would probably go to make sure that I'm clean.
Yeah, you can get testing done there. You can make sure that you're clean. You can make sure your partner is clean. I think you get medicines there as well.
When you said you could get your partner there, I was just like, oh, so are there like couples rates?
No, you know what? I've heard of like people going together to get checked up.
Oh,
like that's actually like a pretty common thing I've heard of.
Oh, okay. I was making an off-color joke, but now I learned that it was actually a true statement.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You also apparently can get bags of condoms. That's really an aside. You can get that.
Where's my closest Planned Parenthood?
Honestly, though, to be honest, you could just get that at colleges.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. True. Yeah. My student services totally had that.
Oh, yeah.
Cross-cultural centers. Yeah.
Just don't.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Are you in person in school now?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay,
I don't count.
Oh, you don't count?
No, not yet. Anyways, go on.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, and for going back to this whole Texas law, I will go above 60 minutes for like for maybe about 10 minutes or so. But yeah, like they set up this whole like basically narc on your on your neighbor's sort of website and everything, and that's being flooded by Shrek memes, and the internet will do what the internet does.
Yeah.
So hopefully they continue that.
We go off.
Yeah, hopefully that continues. I want
Yeah.
that to continue. I was like, let's not have this just be a week that we do this. Like, let's sustain it until like they decide to stop.
Yeah,
right?
it's such a big issue, and it's affecting half of the planet essentially.
To a degree, I feel uncomfortable talking about it because I don't feel like I have a lot to say, other than I would want to support other women and their right to choose what they would want or not want to do. Like I should not have, like, I literally, like, I know I understand, like, yes, you have choices and you have a vote, you have all of these. As a guy, I really don't think I have anything to add to this conversation, other than I support you as a female. Not you, but like
The you.
the you as like all of
Yeah.
people who identify as women, that you have your own choices as a woman to dictate what you can do to your body or not. And that also goes to trans folks too. Like if you want to gender confirm, that is your right and that is your body. You need to make those decisions for yourself. And if it is a mental, like, not a mental health issue, but like the mental health is like the idea that the suicide rates are higher in trans folks, and if that helps you live, by all means do it.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather have you alive than dead.
Yeah.
So
I think also, in my opinion, actually, I had a conversation about like pro-life versus pro-choice when I was in college. I sound like I'm out of it.
Still are in college.
Yeah, but in one of my previous classes.
Yeah.
And it really helped me kind of figure out how I felt about everything, because we were having a discussion about, like, if you had to choose between either, which would you choose? And my professor at the time was saying, like, it's very okay for you to say that you're pro-choice, but still not be okay with, like, killing a baby. Killing a baby. It's
Right.
just besides the point. Anyway, it's, it's okay to understand, like, sometimes you're not fully okay with those processes, but it's not your choice to be making. It's the person who's going through that situation's choice to be making that decision.
Yeah, and it's a very personal thing, and I think just how having a baby and going through that process, and God forbid, like, a miscarriage happens, that is a very personal thing that someone has to go through.
Yeah, someone was just telling me that she had or not telling me, I read somewhere.
Oh, okay.
There was a girl who was posting, like, a full thing online, and she was saying that in her, like, extended family, there was someone who was conservative who was using her miscarriage as an argument as to why other women should not be able to have abortions. And she was like, who are you to redefine my experience
And her trauma.
exactly? Yeah, it's just it doesn't make any sense to me. You should be able to choose what you do with your own body. Why are we letting other people dictate and force us to not be able to choose? I don't get it.
Yeah, it just, when it gets to that point of that conversation, I just feel like for a lot of people it is a proposition of religion, and it's like religion that controls people instead of helping people. And I feel uncomfortable even just mentioning it, but I know where I stand on a personal level, and honestly, who knows, 10 years down the line I may change my mind, but right now I just feel like, why go through this whole process of, like, finding weird legal loopholes to enforce laws that are really just going to disenfranchise other people and make it more dangerous for people that need that process.
Right. And like, these type of discussions of like babies, birth, miscarriages, abortions and stuff, that's considered very much private information, right? And there has been, like, a movement to try to make that much more of a common discussion for people to have, to make it at least more comfortable for people to be able to discuss their experiences.
Almost like normalizing. Well, there was also this, this growing discussion about, really talking about miscarriages in a way that normalizes that conversation and just be like, having kids can be traumatic.
Yeah, there's
this traumatic part of people's lives.
Yeah, there's a sense of camaraderie in terms of like being able to know that you're not alone dealing with a traumatic situation. And I think with the rise of all of this new stuff that's happening in Texas, I think that's making it much harder for women to be much more vocal about their experiences, because if they say anything, they're liable to get arrested.
Right.
So,
it's really spooky. Yeah.
It's spooky, scary skeletons.
Spooky, scary skeletons. As you may know, it is October.
We're in October. Wink.
See, here's the problem. I haven't really talked to him to produce our in-person podcast yet. So, as far as we know, we're just doing a bit right now.
It's in October.
Okay.
We'll just say it's in October.
By December comes around, it's still October. And we'll just have a skull placed every single day.
Oh my god, I'm so okay with that. Every time I record, it's October. We'll have a 14-foot skeleton hiding in the back of your couch soon.
But yeah. So we have another like 5 or so minutes. So let's finish out that conversation. So at least where we both stand, we really, really like. I feel uncomfortable, but am an ally for other women, because it's just I don't think that I as a guy has anything to, like, I can't dictate your body.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand. It may, for other people, they're just like, oh, you should really speak up about what you think. It's like, no, that's really what I think right now. I don't think I have a right to dictate what physiology dictate other people's physiology, especially the opposite sex.
Yeah. If I had to say, I personally am very much a proponent for like Planned Parenthood. As somebody, I'm 25 right now. I'm at the cusp of losing my healthcare very, very soon. And so
no, that's spoopy scary skeletons.
That's very spoopy scary skeletons. That's very spoopy scary vaginas. But skeletons don't have vaginas though. Sorry, that thought just came up.
Is this part of your vagina monologue?
I don't know if I want a vagina. Anyway, I do feel like, as somebody who's about to lose healthcare, and then I have to go through the processes of finding it, I would very much be like, I would want to use the services from Planned Parenthood because they're so affordable.
Yeah.
And I think the one we have locally in our area shut down too. So
shoot.
That makes me a little more upset, but
I can't get my free bag of condoms.
Your goodie bag of condoms.
My goodie bag of condoms.
Trick or treat. What are you getting? Cummy.
Oh God, did you just say
that? Censor it out. Cut the VOD.
Should I age gate this content?
Cut the VOD twice. We'll just censor what I just said twice. I'll say the the uncensored, no, the more PG version. You can censor out the rated R version. You can get a full bag of surprises at Planned Parenthood. Big surprises.
We're like, our minds are still in high school.
Huge surprises.
Oh God.
Surprises of all colors and packages. Brands.
Do you want to finish your point?
That was it.
That was it? Okay. You know how I said I was uncomfortable? At this point, yeah, I am. I'm just kidding. So that's where we stand on this whole Texas thing. And from what I recall, I think the Supreme Court has justified it as unconstitutional what they're doing.
I would hope so.
So that was like a 5-4 vote.
I thought
and everything was it?
I don't know. They might have voted for it to be in. Because
no. I mean, the U.S. federal Supreme Court has said it was unconstitutional.
Oh, perhaps.
Yeah, and so there was like a bunch of these like opinion pieces that like all the justices made and everything like that. But yeah, I just think it's just kind of a weird time right now.
I feel like we've like all of the progress we made has kind of like we've kind of like pushed back a couple of years.
I think it's really, if I were to really put a like an explanation, like a period point on like the reason why. It's just really, it's this idea that we through '08 we really screwed things up when it came to like really caring about people, and we're like only caring about corporations and the bottom line, that it created a whole population of people that like, if you have this notion that you are for big government, or like this idea that you're for profit in terms of corporations, then you are the end all be all of bad guys. Right? And it's more of an economic thing more than so a political thing in my mind. That's how I see it. It's more of an economics proposition than it is a conversation of politics to me. At least that's how I see it.
I don't know. This just it feels it feels very dystopian like recently.
Yeah.
Not to say that we're actually in a dystopia or anything, but I do feel like it boggles my mind how, you know, we've attained so much progress, and there's so many people that are against that progress. Like, I don't understand.
It's yeah, and like it, of course, like I may, my idea of the issue, yes, is economics, but it's also the intersection of all religion, race, class too about it. You know, class is also a part of it, and you know where you live. You know, like it is in the intersection of all of those issues. So I'm not saying that it is purely economic. I just feel like it is economic in its boil out all of the talk about race, class, and everything. It's an economic issue.
You know, the funny thing is, going back to like our gubernatorial booklets and stuff.
You pronounce it way better than I could.
Gubernatorial. Anyway.
Go ahead.
Going back to that, you know, all of these candidates speak about the American dream. And like, now that I'm like thinking about it, like, what is the American dream to you? Right? Like, to all these people, they're like, no taxes. You know, for a lot of Republicans, it's like not defunding the police.
Yeah, strong police, strong, you know, military, strong, you know, these things.
Right, but like to think about it, like the American dream right now seems very bleak.
Yeah.
And you know, like obviously they're saying like they can improve it, but like how can you say that you're improving it when part of the policies that you're supporting are pushing against improving it in the first place?
Or meddling in other people's personal privacy, or like their personal, their personal lives, even.
Yeah,
and that's the weird cognitive dissonance that I see in the other party, right? Like, you know, I do tend to lean more Dem than I am for R, right? But it's like when I see the big ticket policies, I'm just like, well, you're not. If you're saying that you want independence, then why are you infringing on other people?
Yeah.
So like, what makes them different from you, and like, why is that a policy thing? And I'm not gonna just blindly follow you.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just like, why? And like, for some people, it's like, it doesn't matter why, just vote. I'm like, okay, then this is where the conversation stops.
Yeah.
You know, I want to get down to the reason why. And if it is like this religion that I don't believe in, or like this idea that like gets in a way of other people's lives, then I'm not gonna vote for that.
Right. But you know what? Like, to be honest, I think both parties are kind of like right now.
Yeah.
You know, because like there's so much I can say about the Republican Party, but like also like if we're talking about Democrats currently, like we haven't really put our foot forward to do anything.
Yeah.
And I genuinely can't really say that about the Republican Party because, you know, a lot of shit has happened.
Yeah.
But, you know, so it's like we're in a place where there's a party that isn't being able to do as much, and a party that is doing a lot, but it's kind of bad. So we're kind of just stuck.
Yeah, we're just kind of stuck. Well,
until AOC becomes president. I'm just kidding.
The squad.
Okay, to be fair though,
That would be awesome though.
I will say this: I am really, really happy to see her doing so much for her community, and that says so much more than Ted Cruz.
And also Cory Bush. Like, did you hear about Cory Bush sleeping on the steps of like the Capitol when that eviction moratorium was going up? I was just like, dude, that's like awesome. It's like you don't see that from many Congress people. She's a congressman, right? Yeah, congressperson.
Yeah,
doing that.
there's a lot of young politicians right now that are doing a lot of
And somebody that
good.
knows what it means to be homeless.
Yeah.
Somebody that's had COVID, right? And somebody that lived on the street before. In a position of power that traditionally you had to be a landowner to be in that position of power. Right? So for somebody that in itself can be very inspirational. That's what I'm trying to get at. That in itself can be inspirational. And I'm not trying to, you know, platform this person or anything. It's just that I think what she represents is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
The idea that somebody can, like, it's almost that notion of American dream, right? The idea that she, through her own grit, to her own passions to help other people, she got to that point of power.
Right.
And I think that's in itself is pretty inspiring.
Yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to talk about, shit's on fire, yo. So I think you have a dude friend that is a firefighter in a different country, and all of was it 2019 or 2020? All of the beginning of 2020 was the land down under was on fire.
Yeah.
And now is California, Oregon, and Washington on fire.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair though, California is on fire every year.
Well, you know, that's the thing about like how California's climate and everything, and you know, the way like natural things. And I've talked about this in a previous podcast. Like the natural ebb and flow of nature in California is that stuff just burns.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how it is in California. It's just that we've inhabited like this space, and then we've continued to expand into places that may have not traditionally had people.
I mean, what my friend was saying was that the part of what they do over there is they do controlled burns.
Yeah.
Even my friend, another friend of mine here, said the same thing. In other areas, they'll do controlled burns, and what that essentially does is it makes the likelihood of a fire happening a little bit lower.
Yeah.
And in LA and California, they don't really do controlled burns.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, the brush will get very thick.
Overgrown.
Yeah.
And then when you have a situation where you have a 20-year drought, and probably even longer, like that's just gonna dry out, and it's just gonna burn, and it's insane. And then you have a situation where you know it's drier here, but it's wetter in other places, right?
Yeah.
You know, the U.S. is wet.
Yeah.
It's wet and it's dry. It's going through a dry phase and a wet phase at the same time. Sorry, I know I'm using a lot of innuendos right now.
It's a little moist.
Do you want to like do a clean? Just kind of like get right into that mic. I'm just kidding. No, don't do it. Oh God.
But no,
I'm gonna age-gate this one, guys. I'm just gonna totally
just
age-gate
censor
this.
everything I've done so far. It's fine.
We're in a weird mind palace space.
Just censor it. We'll be fine.
But yeah, go ahead.
But no, I do feel like it is getting to a scary point though, to like when people are saying that the differences in or the climate change is getting to the point where it's becoming almost irreparable. And, you know, they predicted it being like, you know, like years down the line, and it's now pushed down to literally like within the next maybe 10 years or so that we're going to get to a point where it's like we can't turn back.
Yeah. I think it's like, you know, as kids, we probably have this weird naivete of like things are going to get better and better. And to some degrees, things got good, right? You know, California's air quality got better, you know, like smog and all of these things.
We
right?
had swans.
You know,
Dolphins in Venice.
well, and like nature is returning. But like you know, there's also progress, right? We also need to recognize that. But like even in that progress, we still haven't done enough. And it's just really just like you know, I've had a class that was kind of like environmental studies, but the guy was like super kind of pro petroleum, I guess, and he was just like, well, what climate change really means is just that like we're gonna have more rain, and then like less desert and all of these things. What?
No, we're gonna die.
Well, like get like you know, I get that you're trying to make the case for climate change, like you know what's gonna happen in climate change, but it also sounds like he was also still for all of this stuff too. And I'm just like, oh yeah, we'll wrap up in a bit, in like a 3 minutes. But I just want to put a punctuation on this point. It's just that it's just like now we just need to live in it.
Oh yeah, no.
I think this notion that we'll just keep moving to place almost, instead of just adapting it in the now. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about that. It's weird. It's like when everybody's trying to like leave for like Nebraska or something, or everybody's trying to leave into like Tennessee or something, right? Like more greener pastures. And like how long until then those places are going to be an issue, right? You can't just move to somewhere else and then expect it to be done unless you have no choice in the matter, right? Like if Florida's flooding right now, you have no choice in this matter. You got to move, right?
Mm-hmm.
But unless you have choices and you have the privilege to move, right? Moving somewhere else is not going to fix the problem.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like moving back then was a lot easier than moving now.
Well, that's fair too. Yeah,
right?
That's a fair point.
It's not as easy to pick up everything and leave as it was, back in the day.
Yeah.
And
yeah, your phone is bumping.
it's going off. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's, I just feel like, these kind of like situations are going to be very difficult to deal with in time coming. And, like on top of this, with everything else going on, it's definitely compounding on each other.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Definitely. So right now, it's not a like pray for these places sort of situation, but like right now, just like really listen to what's happening right now and see what you could do if you have the privilege and the ability to. Please try to donate. Red Cross.
Yeah. Don't build a spaceship.
Don't build a spaceship.
Don't go to space now.
Don't go up into a penis-shaped rocket.
Do that when the climate is better.
Do that until you give people you that work under you full-time pay.
Do that when the ozone yes, and do that when the ozone layer is not about to collapse on itself.
Yeah. So the in general, if you have the ability to, please donate. If you don't, do anything in your own personal will or power to help out, or like help out somebody in a situation, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing that we need to learn. I think through this 18 months, it's like try your best to help as many people as possible because you never know.
Being compassionate.
Okay, not in the Valley Girl way. Okay.
We need to be compassionate. We need to care about each other. Genuinely, though, we do.
Yeah, we do. You really sound like Trisha Paytas for a second. I'm just like,
oh my god, I'm like so fucking tired of like people causing drama on the internet. Like, I just.
Oh, do we want to bring up Keemstar again?
Yeah, like I just went on his podcast. And I
totally betrayed Ethan.
I don't understand why he's giving me so much shit. I don't. Does that sound
oh my
like her?
God, should we do a Halloween special where you dress up as Trisha Paytas, I dress up as Ethan, and I try to like.
No, you should dress up as Trisha Paytas, and I'll dress up as Ethan. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh my God. Bet. You know what?
Bring the pizza out. I'll start a shitstorm about pizza. You totally put pepperoni on the pizza. You like also got it with vegetables.
I told you before, every time we order fucking pizza, everything just breaks.
No, I don't understand. I told you I only want pepperoni on my pizza.
So you're saying that the problem is the pepperoni on the pizza, not the fact that we order pizza and everything goes wrong after?
Yeah, you never listen to me. I don't fucking understand.
Is this about the 5% again?
Yes.
Okay. 5%
of my pizza doesn't have pepperoni on it. I'm just kidding.
My niece is gonna love that bit. I'm gonna cut that bit. I'm gonna send that to my niece because that's like one of the things that.
Hi, niece. What did she say? I
don't know what she said. Hey, bitch. I don't know.
I'm so fucking tired. I just like to cause drama. I'm just kidding. Trisha Paytas, does she?
Should we finish while we're ahead?
Yeah.
Just like how families did they finish while they were ahead?
We need this podcast to be over, so.
All right, we'll have another discussion next time on the podcast, y'all.
Thanks for listening to us again.
You'll follow Trisha Paytas on her.
No, don't follow Trisha Paytas. Follow me.
Find Kalani at her socials. Do you have public social?
I only have Instagram.
You only have Instagram? Okay. Do you want to plug your Instagram?
It's at It's at what is it at? Kalani Chi. It's just my
Kalani Chi,
name.
yeah.
Look me up.
And then you can follow me in other social media stuff that I've been posting about this podcast. And
You
then
can follow Bryan on Instagram here. You can follow him on YouTube. No, you can subscribe to him on YouTube below.
follow the links, do the comments, do the likes, and then we'll see you on another podcast.
Bye.
Bye.